Hi, I'm Jared from Grow My Etsy Shop Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about how to make your pictures pop on Etsy. So there's a little bit of a technique to this, and there's actually a couple of videos I'm going to be making about this, but this is going to cover just the first 5 things that you can do to help your pictures pop. So today we're going to be discussing pop, accessory, extra touch, options, and features. I'm going to be showing you what's working, what's not working, and just really help you get found more on Etsy. So before we jump too far into this, it's important to know there's actually 2 main types of buyers on Etsy. You have your inspirational shoppers, and these people show up and are looking to be inspired to spend their money. So they're just kind of they're looking for things that are popping, things that are beautiful. They really want to see those beautiful pictures that just draw them in. You then have the direct buyers. So people who show up kind of knowing what they want. They're searching, they're looking for something. Now, we want to appeal to the direct buyers by presenting our product as clear as possible. However, our inspirational buyers really do enjoy beautiful pictures and seeing accessories and whatnot. So there's going to be a balance that we need to have to make the perfect pop picture. I'm going to be showing you first, how do you make that picture pop? So a great way that you can make your pictures pop is by adding color to the picture. Look at this picture right here. Do you see how colorful it is? Now, if this picture was just put up against a pink background, it wouldn't have the same effect. The fact that it looks like you can see shadows to it, there's a depth to the picture that you're getting, and that's what's working. And then, of course, they have these accessories with the strawberries that really just fit the theme. I want you to look at this same picture next to the listing. Literally, I just took a screenshot of this to the other one. Do you see a difference between the two? Do you see how much more this pops, how professional it looks, how much more inviting this picture is? That's because they've done a great job at using this color feature to bring you in. Now, just because that picture worked really well with color doesn't mean all pictures need color. Here's another example. So this is a no pop picture, we'll call it. This picture does not pop, though the item is really, really cool. It's a map inside of an oyster. How cool is that? But the way it's set up, the colors are all kind of the same, and so it doesn't really pop the way that we want. So I went into their listing picture, and I ended up finding this picture. So this is the same product, but you can see the background. We're getting closer to making this pop. Something that I would do is I would trace the outline of this picture, and I would darken the background just a tad. Because the colors are a little too close, if you can create that contrast, that front item will pop more, and with that map inside, you can have a really, really great picture. So another way you can get your pictures to really pop is by adding a small extra touch. So look at this example. This is a hanger that you put the name of the bride on the hanger. Now you see how they have a wedding dress that's hung from this? This is the extra touch that I'm referring to. It's making it more realistic. If you just have the hanger, like this picture, your brain kind of has to work. It has to imagine what it's going to look like with the dress on it. We have to imagine the placement for it. And so this is good if someone was searching for, hey, I'm looking for a hanger with the bride's name on it. Boom, we got you covered. But if someone's inspirationally searching through keywords like wedding, wedding gifts, whatever it may be, having something like this is going to be really appealing for that inspirational shopper and also work for the functional buyer. So this is kind of a double whammy one, where our other one is just really hitting a certain type of buyer. So this extra touch, look at your pictures and see, is there a way you can add extra touch to your picture to just bring it a little bit more to life? Here's another example. Do you see this bow? They could have just taken a picture of a bow. And they even added a little color in the background, so we're following our pop mentality here. But they instead added these little hearts there. Now this is a Valentine's Day bow, so it's going perfect with the Valentine's Day theme. This is a small touch. The only complaint I really have about this picture is that it's a little dark. So I just took it into Photoshop myself, and I want you to know I just put the exposure up a bit. I added the contrast a bit. You're going to see the picture pops just a bit more because of that. I'll put them side by side so that you can see that. Do you see the difference between those two pictures? Those small little details, add the touch, get a little bit of brightness in there. Exposure is better than brightness. Add a little bit of contrast so that you get the shadow. Depth is very important in these pictures. You're going to see your profile pictures are going to really start singing. So now let's talk accessories. So this is really important when your item matches with other things. So clothing is a big part of this, fashion, jewelry, whatnot. If you add accessories, it helps bring a vibe to the picture that the buyer can place themselves into. So look at this picture here. You're going to see this is just a picture of a shirt. And it's a cool shirt, but we got it on a hanger on a white drop, and it's a white shirt, and it just doesn't really pop. Now look at this picture. why does this picture pop so much more? Now, I tend to like models more than I like flat lays. Mock-ups can sometimes feel like you're oversaturated a bit, and so I can understand why you would want to move away from that. However, if we're gonna move away from that, I'd want to go more like something like this. Do you see it's the same shirt, but we flat laid it, and it just has a better, it stays center for what it's doing. The accessories don't take away from the actual product. We know what the product is. You're gonna see in this other example, it's taking away from the product. See, the accessories are moving stuff away, and I'm not quite sure what it is that you're selling here. But this same product, if I do this, you can now tell this is selling me this sweatshirt, and it's center. And there's stuff that's making it pop, but it's not necessarily distracting me from the main product. And keep in mind, inspirational shoppers are gonna really enjoy this because they're seeing, they're envisioning, they get to see their imaginations work with your product. And that's what's gonna draw people into your shop. So use this listing picture, this main listing picture, to spark the imagination of someone and bring them in, but not taking them away from what you sell or forcing them to think about what it is that you're selling. Now, before you go running and adding all these new accessories to your pictures, accessories aren't always the answer. Let me show you this really quick. Do you see this picture? This is an accessorized picture. We can see that there's other things in it. But watch us sell something very similar with no accessories at all. Look at that picture. This sings. So if your product sings itself, meaning there's a lot to it, we want to keep the background as minimal as possible so that our product does the popping. If our product is more muted, we're going to use accessories and color to bring out that listing so that people are able to see it and then come in this way. So this is a good example. If your product sings, let it sing. Give it the background that it needs to pop. If it's not popping, let's create other things in there that are going to allow that and elevate that listing to pop more. Okay, so let's talk features. So when you're in a really saturated keyword, there's going to be small things that are going to win a buyer over. Keep in mind, if I'm looking at jewelry or I'm looking at Valentine's Day gifts or Father's Day gifts or whatever, there is a lot of people who are competing for those keywords. And as I'm going through and looking at jewelry, there's going to be a lot of jewelry that is kind of the same, a lot of minimalistic jewelry that's going to be found on Etsy. So how do I make mine pop? Well, this is where you can take a feature and place it in your main listing picture. So here's an example of this. Do you see how they just put a soft pink in there, which is a great pop, but it has a feature in it that it's going to ship today. Now, if I take this same picture and line it up with 4 others, and this is, I pulled right from the search, you're gonna see, that pink does help it pop, but if I had to choose one, there's something just a little bit more inviting about someone saying, hey, I can take care of you right now. And this is a technique we use all over. Just something that be able to, in sales, to be able to say, hey, I got a little something for you. Come over here and check this out. That's what this listing picture does, and it's going to be really great in helping you bring in those clicks. So before we move to our last point, I do want to bring this up really quick. Do you see this listing picture? Now you may look at this and think, well, look, they've got features, and look, man, do they pop? They're doing their job. But are we pre-framing our buyer correctly? So I can see that based on this picture right here, that this picture is trying to convince people that they're not just some cheap manufactured from China product. They're trying to show that it's shipped locally, that it's fast, that it's good quality, that you're gonna love it. You're just doing too much too fast. Allow the buyer to come in from a feature, something that they like. Pop brings those people in. And when they're in, you can take everything that's in this main listing picture and break it into listing pictures so that I'm digesting it in pieces as opposed to getting it all at once. We don't pop so that we grab people's attention. We pop so that we can pre-frame their minds to come into our store and learn more. And if we train our buyers to see our stuff, come in, and then our listing pictures tell the story that we want them to know, which in this case is that they're not cheap, that they have fast shipping, they're not made from China, then we can do that in our listing pictures, and by the time they're done, we've pre-framed that buyer ready to then make a purchase. All right, so the last thing we're gonna be talking about today is options. So if your listing has a lot of options and you want to promote that from the listing, well, this is a hard thing to do because when you present options, it can sometimes look cluttery. So let me show you a great way to be able to do it. Do you see this picture right here? This is a really low budget picture, but boy, does it show the options. I love that I'm able to see it on a hand. If I'm in buyer mode and I see something like this, I can see that these are rings, that she has options, that there's a lot of different cute options, and then that invites me to come and click in. If you just lay those out, it can be a little bit more difficult to do that thought process as quick as this picture does. When you see it, it instantly fills your mind, and that's what wins people over. Like especially these direct buyers who are coming in and looking for a specific thing. They see something like this and they go, oh, that's it. That's what I want. Whoop. And in they go. And when you get that whoop and they're in your shop, you have a high chance of then converting them. Here's another great example. So I typed in water bottle stickers and this came up. I love this because it takes a small real estate to show me that there's options. What she could have done, which would have been hard to see, is she could have laid out all the stickers, or she could have laid out a bunch of water bottles that had all the stickers on it. And that takes me a little bit to process. Wait, what's in this picture? And when there's so many options and distractions on Etsy, it's easy to just say, I'm moving on. But in this scenario where I typed in water bottle sticker and I saw a sticker on a water bottle and then I saw the options, that allows me to say, well, I want to see what other options. I want to see what this looks like. And we start to dive in. Look at this same picture next to its competitor. Now they tried to show that they had a lot of options or stickers, I'm not quite sure, but you can see how cluttery this picture is compared to our main picture. So I would totally go with and follow the outline of this picture before I would the other one. Okay, that is it for today. I do have more pointers. I'm going to be making more videos that's going to break this down. So if you haven't yet, you can subscribe and I can hook you up with all that down the road. In the description, I actually have like a blog that I wrote about this, and I have like a downloadable doc that you can click on. It's free. There's no email or anything like that. You just click the link and then download the thing. And what that is that I actually had access to a focus group, and I had them go through major keywords, and then they told me what pictures popped the most to them, and then we just dissect that. So if you want to check that out, you can just go down in the description. It's at growmyetsyshop.com. That's it. See ya.